and get started. Okay, our meeting is, sorry, Lisa, I took your job away. Our meeting is being recorded now.
All you.
All me. Hi,
All
everyone.
you.
Good to see your faces. Glad to have you here for the St. Louis Region Childhood Community Leader Stakeholder Meeting. So if you were not expecting to be in that meeting, we're glad to have you here and you can learn a little bit more about what we're doing today. My name's Leah Moser. I am one of the St. Louis Region Community Leaders and am joined here by my colleague Lisa Greening with Turn the Page STL, who is another of our community leaders, and Tiffany Herbert, our third community leader representing St. Charles County, is on spring break this week and is doing some travel with her family. So we will not see her today, but hope she is having a great time. Um, Thank you all for joining us today. I am going to be helping to run the show here. So Lisa usually does all this. So you get me today. Lisa gets to sit in the background a bit and just enjoy being here with us. So let's see if I know what I'm doing here. There's a good chance I don't. So I appreciate your grace in bearing with me. Are you all seeing our sweet little baby face on the slideshow? Okay.
Yes.
Christy's thumbs up. Perfect. I'm gonna just okay. Hopefully that is still what you're seeing. Yes.
Yes.
Amazing. All right. We are going to mix up the format a little bit today. We typically start these meetings with some introduction time and getting to know one another. We're going to shift that to the latter half of our meeting and jump right into our guest speakers who are here today. So I mentioned us as our community leaders, and we will share these slides out with you after the meeting. So if you want to get in touch with Lisa, Tiffany, or myself, that's how you will find us. But if you could let us know that you are here today just by dropping your name and organization in the chat, we would very much appreciate that. We enjoy seeing you, and we want to make sure that we have our attendance captured as well. But I'm going to go ahead today and just really quickly tell you we've got two amazing speakers who are here with us today to talk about two different initiatives that are both related to infant mental health. Christy Roberts is my former colleague who is now with the University of Missouri in Columbia with their Center for Child Wellbeing. And we also have Lynn Bartz with us, who many of you know. She is one of our stakeholders with Baby and Me, and she is going to be talking about the Missouri Association for Infant Mental Health. And I probably just butchered that. I'm sorry, Lynn. We do have your official organization in our latter slides. And then we will hear from both of them today. And then we'll reserve some time at the end of our meeting to talk a little bit about the vision and goals for our community leader work, share some resources out with you all, and then hopefully have a little bit of time to network and chat towards the end of our meeting. So again, I want to extend a warm welcome to Christy Roberts, who many of you know as a former community leader. Christy is with the Center for Child Wellbeing and is going to talk about, I think it's a new initiative, the Infant and Early Childhood Mental Health Initiative. So I am going to stop sharing my screen and let Christy take the driver's seat here. Christy is here with us until just about 12:50. So if you have questions for her as she's presenting, do feel free to pop those in the chat. She'll try to answer them at the end, but if not, we will send her any follow-up questions that we may have. So Christy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Thanks, Leah. Can you hear me okay?
We hear you.
All right. Hi, everybody. Good to see your faces again. And yeah, I've been gone, but not far. I moved from UMSL to MU and again working for what's called the Center for Child Wellbeing. Who thought there was such a center? But it's a wonderful place to work, and I've learned so much. And I am part of an amazing team there. And so I appreciate you all letting me introduce the new initiative that we're working on. It launched in January, and it's called the Infant and Early Childhood Mental Health Initiative. It's a statewide initiative. It's for childcare programs serving children birth through the start of kindergarten. And that's the only eligibility right now. We're casting a wide net in order to meet the needs of just centers seeking consultation for the social emotional needs of their staff and their classrooms. So the initiative is a free service. It's funded through DESE's Office of Childhood, and I want to let you know the three objectives of the initiative, which are to promote all children's healthy social and emotional development, to support the childcare professionals that are caring for and responding to young children, and we're ultimately wanting to prevent suspension and or expulsion in early childhood. So I'm going to speak to each of these objectives and the rationale for each one over the next few slides. So I know I'm preaching to the choir here about just the importance of social emotional development in young children. And healthy social emotional development gives children the ability to form and sustain positive relationships with adults and peers, experience, manage, and express big emotions because we know preschoolers have them, right? We know little people have huge emotions, and so just being able to manage those, explore and engage with the environment around them, and all in the context of their family, their community, and the child care center's culture that they're involved with. Research shows that social emotional development in early childhood is understood to be the foundation of future mental health and overall well-being for adults. Social emotional development can be promoted by the child's relational and physical environment. Um, and social emotional skills need to be taught. Some skills don't come naturally to children, and they require that explicit instruction, such as how to take turns or how to ask to join in playing with their peers, or how to name the emotions for themselves, or to recognize the emotion in another child or another person. Social emotional development can be assessed, meaning children have social emotional milestones, just like they have milestones for gross motor development, communication, cognitive abilities. There are tools we can use to track children's development in social emotional development to celebrate their successes and provide support where needed. And we know that children with healthy social emotional development tend to be happier, have a more positive attitude towards school, more eagerly participate in class activities, and demonstrate higher academic performance. And we understand the challenges experienced by childcare providers, particularly the responsibility of caring for children that have diverse needs and are at varying developmental stages. So, our mission with consultation reminds me a lot of, I'm from Parents as Teachers, Parents as Teachers world. So, it reminds me a lot of my home visiting days. We meet the early childhood professional where they're at. Their classroom is their home. Their classroom is their family. And so we meet them where they're at. We offer supports where needed. For example, our initiative offers training, coaching support, or consultation, and resources to effectively promote social emotional development, teach social emotional skills, address challenging behaviors. And we help in the teacher understanding the complex and deeper causes for behavior. Whether that, for example, there could be developmental delays, there could be trauma. And so consultants partner with the teacher or educator to look at behavior with a different perspective. And we partner with educators around increased stress and job satisfaction, because childcare professionals report that it's the challenging behaviors that's a major cause of increased stress and job dissatisfaction with them. And that leads to higher staff turnover. And we know that when you have staff turning over, when childcare centers have staff turning over, they're losing families too. And so we want to be able to help prevent that. We also want to help keep educators in the classroom, but we want to keep children in the classroom. We want to keep them in safe, supportive educational settings. Suspensions and expulsions don't provide support to a child who is struggling. Quite the opposite. The experience of being kicked out of those early childcare experiences result in negative outcomes for children over the course of their lifetime. It leads to negative school attitudes, academic failure, grade retention, later suspension and expulsions, and then even, leading to dropout rates and increased dropout rates in adult incarceration. So, and then we've got the disproportionate numbers here of Black preschoolers that are being expelled twice as often as white preschoolers, preschool boys that are getting suspended 4 times more often than girls. Preschool children with developmental disabilities that are 5 times more likely to be expelled or suspended. And then, of course, those children with those traumatic experiences, 4 times more likely to be expelled or suspended. So, this just emphasizes the need for childcare providers to really understand the deeper meaning behind behavior and how to use effective strategies to respond to children's behavior rather than react. So, the initiative, it's a proactive approach to identify and address social emotional challenges across all children within the childcare setting. The framework provides a continuum of support for children's social and emotional needs, beginning with the foundation, which is to support and build the childcare workforce to implement effective promotion and prevention and intervention strategies for social emotional development. So, with this approach, we can utilize different levels of intervention based on individual needs, ranging from whole class practices to targeted small group interventions, and then individualized support for children who require more intensive assistance. So, this is a visual of our multi-tiered system of support, shows the workforce development of childcare professionals as the foundation. And then across all services provided by the initiative, we support the bottom tier with professional development, the coaching, the consultation, referrals. Again, our
Welcome back.
goal is to keep kids in the classroom, but also to support educators to stay. So one of the best advice I've been able to give to the teachers I've worked with so far with this initiative is that kid who has all those challenging behaviors is going to make you a better teacher. And it turns out that they really do. And it's been exciting to really see the kind of transformation of classrooms with the decreasing of challenging behaviors and the increasing of the kinds of behaviors that the teachers I'm working with really got into this profession to experience. So, again, tier one, we got the base, which is that workforce professional development, support. And so that's going to be tier one. That's our universal supports is professional development strategies that we can give to all centers. Tier two, we implement a practice based coaching approach to help professionals use effective classroom wide strategies and small group strategies to teach those skills and prevent the challenging behaviors. Tier three, we implement what's called a prevent, teach, reinforce method. And that's intensive, individualized intervention for children who have persistent, challenging behaviors, which has not been reduced with our two supports, if that makes sense. So, and tier three is a team approach. So when we're going in and offering that tier 3 intervention, it's with the educator, it's with the consultant, it also includes the family. So the family is included in designing and implementing a behavior intervention plan, which utilizes some positive behavior intervention and supports in the classroom. And I just wanted to clarify the difference between challenging behavior and persistent challenging behavior, like what we offer for our tier 3 supports. So, first, we have to acknowledge that challenging behavior is part of typical development for preschoolers. Also for infants. Infants they cry, right? Toddlers bite. There's intense tantrums that happen on some days. Um, Preschoolers can be defiant. They can be bossy. They can be whiny, pushy, territorial. So many of us can remember with our own children that there are seasons of development that are not particularly happy times. Um, but children don't have the communication skills or the emotional management skills or the problem solving skills to effectively communicate what they need and rely on the adults in their world to understand the function of their behavior. So the adult can guide them to more pro social behaviors and fewer challenging behaviors. But the reason why challenging behavior can feel so overwhelming to adults and childcare professionals it's because they're responding to typical challenging behavior all day long. And so the responses to behavior are greatly impacted by also, the caregiver's expectations for behavior. So when, teachers believe that a child should already have achieved a certain skill, like maybe waiting their turn or sharing, or they're less likely to provide the support to the child that's needed to learn that skill, and more likely to respond with frustration towards the child. And so what this leads to is an atmosphere of lots of correction, lots of discipline that's happening in the classroom, lots of directives, lots of frustration, right? So, and too much frustration can lead to, of course, caregiver fatigue and caregiver burnout. So the good news is that 80% of challenging behaviors can be prevented or reduced by using effective classroom-wide strategies and just targeted support to teach children social and emotional competencies. So that's what our tier 2 supports really look like. And then persistent challenging behavior is very different. It's more concerning. There's a pattern of behaviors which usually interfere with the child's ability to really have those positive interactions with their teachers. They don't develop friendships with their peers. It's very difficult, and it negatively impacts themselves and everyone in the classroom. It changes the whole dynamic of the classroom. So this is where those tier 3 supports can be beneficial, and they are child centered. We go in screening with an ASQ3 and ASQ SE2 if that has not been done. And then, if there is a developmental area of concern, we can help support the center with a referral to First Steps or maybe the local school district, depending on the age of the child. Maybe there is a need for a diagnosis or eligibility for special ed services. But when we're looking at persistent challenging behavior, we are going in and helping prevent that risk for suspension and expulsion, because many of the times children with the persistent challenging behaviors, that's where they're at. And it's due to concerns about their safety. Many times it's the safety of the other children in the classroom. So, it's something that needs some intervention, and that's where we come in. And so I'm going to show you just what participation looks like. And that's because that's a lot of the question, what does this logistically look like? Um, I will tell you that behavior intervention takes time. So, we're not coming in and fixing a child. We're really trying to educate the center on what behavior uh, change looks like. And in many times, it's not changing the child, it's changing the environment that that child is in. So, of course, like I said, universal strategies, that tier one, we've got professional development, and I'm going to put a link to our website where you can have access to those training opportunities. We have lots available, and of course, free of charge. Tier two is that targeted support. So what it looks like is on-site coaching, could be virtual coaching. They're usually about 2-hour visits that we come in and do some observation of the classroom and consultation, do some goal setting and action planning with the teacher, and really helping them feel more confident and competent in doing some of these social emotional strategies. Tier three is on-site consultation, like I said, with the teacher, with the family, to put to actually have a functional behavior assessment that we do, and put a behavior intervention plan in place for that individual child. So that's what that looks like. A little bit more intensive with our tier three supports. This coaching at tier two is really less prescriptive and more just meeting the center where they're at and being more individualized with the support that they need. So, how do you make a referral? Um, there's a QR code here. There's also our website where you can go and make a referral and be assigned to a consultant that we have throughout the state. So, who can refer? The teacher themselves can refer. Their directors or other professionals can refer a teacher, obviously in partnership. You'd want the teacher to know that they would be getting a call for that kind of support. And parents can call. So if you have parents that, are really worried that their child might be having enough trouble that they may not be able to be at that child care center anymore, they can also put in a referral, because we really want to advocate for helping keep those kids in the classrooms, but also keep the teachers in the classroom. So that is the referral process. And then here's our team. I'm in the St. Louis area. Soon, I don't know if you all know Tracy Stanton. She's going to be helping in the St. Louis area this summer, starting on this summer. And we also, so our team has experience in, trauma, mental health, special education. We have a dual language speaker. Mariella is Spanish and Italian speaking. So we have a really great team that is ready to support childcare centers across the state. So thank you all for letting me just talk so long. And if you have any questions, um, please let me know. I can just breeze through the
We had
questions
one
here.
question, Lisa. How does this interact with parents as teachers?
So we are actually going in so parents as teachers and their relationship with child care centers is usually typically just screening, which we do interact with that. So if we are going in and there is a child that has these challenging behaviors, if they've been screened by parents as teachers, then we just use that screening that's already been done. So that's basically how we interact with parents as teachers so far.
We had another question, Christy, if you have time to respond.
Yeah.
Could you tell us more about the behavior intervention plan? Is this similar to what is completed in ECSE or the school districts?
It is similar. However, behavior intervention plans in ECSE would be required under IDEA, right? So if there's a child that's already enrolled in special education and they have intense behaviors, they really should have a behavior intervention plan in place already at the school district. If they don't, I would probably recommend to a family that that is in place. But it is very similar. What we're doing is putting a behavior intervention plan in place at the child care center. If the child is in special education, we would use probably the behavior intervention plan that's in place at under the IEP, and to help implement that in the center. So yeah.
Well, thank you,
Hi,
Sounds
may
like
I
Christy.
come off mute and ask the question?
yes.
All right, it's Samantha March. I'm a part of the St. Louis Pre-K Cooperative, and I work with a host of childcare providers and LEAs in the St. Louis City region. And I was just wondering if you had like a flyer that I could obtain because I do a monthly newsletter, and I would love to get this information out to the providers that I work with.
I would love for you to spread the word, Dr. March. I do have I can send to your email our, letter of introduction of our initiative. And I do have a flyer that I plan on putting on the community leader Facebook page as well
Sure,
so
thank you. That
everyone
flyer
can
would be
share the
helpful.
word.
Yeah, and I just kind of do it with the blurb. And then I also just want to say kudos to your team. Karen Washer is just phenomenal. I had worked with her back in my SLPS days, and she came out and did a training for all the educators and brought that ASQ kit. It was free of charge. So I just want to tell everybody on this call that that team underneath Karen Washer is awesome.
Yeah, it has been a pleasure to work under her. She's an amazing, amazing educator. So she's taught me a lot so far.
Well, this was wonderful. Thank you so much, Christy. We appreciate the generosity of your time today and sharing about this. And any information or materials you want to share with this group, please do post that in the Facebook page, or feel free to you can email it to Lisa and I, and we will share that out with the whole group. So, and
Another
if folks,
great thing, another great that the state of Missouri is really looking at and bringing together. So appreciate this. I mean, guys, this is a really new umbrella initiative. So appreciate you. Appreciate the entire organization.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
thanks, Christy. Take care. Wonderful. Well, I am going to keep this conversation going, and I'm going to turn it over to Lynn Bartz to tell us about another statewide initiative focused on infant mental health as well. Take it away, Lynn.
Yeah, thank you. So I love this. This is just such a perfect follow-up. And my name is Lynn Bartz, and I own my own small business, Baby and Me, but I'm also an active member in our Missouri Association for Infant and Early Childhood Mental Health. And MOAIM is celebrating our 10-year anniversary in the state, and so it's a great opportunity to celebrate that anniversary, but also an opportunity for our education committee, which I'm a part of, to help increase awareness about the initiatives that are part of MOAIM, especially our gatherings that we have each month and the endorsement process, which has become a really strong initiative to really raise the bar for recognition for early childhood professionals who work with families that have young children. So I'm going to just walk us through just a few brief slides talking about the Missouri Association for Infant and Mental Health. And I'll put that website in the chat in case anybody wants to jump on that after I'm finished just sharing a little bit. And just kudos to Christy. So I do a lot of work in Illinois as well as Missouri, and Illinois has had Caregiver Connections, which is a statewide program supporting childcare providers with infant mental health consultants for years. And it has made a dramatic change in the childcare landscape. And so I'm just really proud of Missouri that we are implementing a similar initiative. And I really have high hopes that we're going to see the same benefits that Illinois has seen in terms of supporting families in decreasing expulsion, which is really what is happening for our young children in childcare who have significant, persistent behavior challenges when their childcare provider isn't supported. So I was very excited to hear about this initiative. And so I want to talk a little bit about the Missouri Association for Infant Mental Health. The vision, as you can see on the slide, if you have access to that, is that all Missouri children are going to have equitable services, supports, and tools needed to thrive. And so Christy's initiative is just another example, right, of these services that can help families with young children thrive and those who support them thrive. And that anybody who encounters children who live in Missouri will have a comprehensive understanding of what's needed for social, emotional, and cognitive well-being throughout the lifespan. And our goal through the association is to really optimize well-being by promoting the importance of relationships and helping to promote infant mental health practice across fields and really bringing that to light to every citizen within the state of Missouri. And so Christy just did a really nice overview, honestly, of infant mental health. And so I don't want to repeat what she just shared, but that initiative that she's helping to support and the Missouri Association for Infant Mental Health, we are supporting the same goal of really helping the developing capacity of young children to develop close and secure relationships with their families and their peers and learn how to identify their own emotions, express those in an appropriate way that is culturally relevant for them, and really having safe environments in which to explore and learn. And that all of that is done within the context of their family, their community, and their culture. And that comes back to us as professionals in really learning about families. And as Christy shared, there's just so much similarities in terms of our initial overview here that science and research are really helping us to know that intergenerational trauma is imprinted and that young children can be born with their genes already altered in terms of intergenerational trauma that they have assimilated, which can really impact the bonding and attachment process with their family and early care and education providers. And we also know that caregivers, both child care providers and families who have experienced their own significant trauma, can relay that to their children and also struggle in their ability to bond and attach with their own child. And we know that when young children are with caregivers who are dysregulated, we know that regulation is a learned behavior for young children. And so young children who are being cared for by adults who cannot regulate their own emotions have an increased likelihood of having post-traumatic stress disorder and their own challenges in regulating their behavior. And so when we know that we support providers, that they're going to have better outcomes for their young children. And so that is really the focus of the Missouri Association for Infant Mental Health. And when we help to support families and providers, we help the young minds, very fluid and adaptable nervous system, to be able to learn trust, safety, and security. And as Christy said, because we know that social and emotional development is the foundation of all development, that we're helping to support that young child in not only developing relationships with their family members, but then their peers in childcare, preschool, school, and even into the adult years. And it also helps to lay the foundation for the rest of development. And so it's critical that we really support infant mental health. And we know that it all comes back to relationships. And that when we as providers, regardless of what role we serve, when we can establish a relationship with families that is responsive, honors what the family decides that their needs and priorities are, and help to identify strengths and resilience and protective factors that the family already has, that this can help to support families in feeling more confident and capable in meeting their young child's life. And so through the association, we are really excited that over the last several years, the association has been working towards joining the Alliance for the endorsement of infant mental health practitioners. And I'm really proud to say that Missouri is an endorsement state. We have joined the Alliance for Infant Mental Health Endorsement. We've had 2 cohorts already go through the process of achieving endorsement. And so I want to spend just a few minutes talking about endorsement and why it's good for babies. We know that for states that are part of the Alliance and choose to implement endorsement for early childhood professionals in a variety of capacities, babies do better. Endorsement supports us as professionals in achieving a level of recognition that can help to change funding. It can help to support ongoing professional development. It can help us as professionals to recognize cultural differences and be responsive by using reflective consultation and reflective supervision to help us notice biases that we might be carrying, having a safe place to come and talk with another professional or peer to help us think through tough situations. So as Christy described, the consultation practice and initiative for childcare providers, endorsement offers that for us as professionals. So I have my own reflective supervisor that I meet with twice a month. I have gone through the process of endorsement and have achieved my endorsement through Missouri Association as one of the first cohorts. And when I think about, for myself, having worked in this field for over 30-something years, having endorsement really was an opportunity for me to even give myself my own validation of all of the hard work and all of the education and professional development and personal and professional growth that I continue to do to keep helping myself to become better in my work with families and other professionals. So it enhances our own credibility, our own confidence for children and families. As Christy shared, it raises the bar in terms of our services for families that have young children. It also then helps our community to have higher expectations for childcare providers, for home visitors, for hospitals and other social service agencies. When you have staff working for you that have achieved endorsement, it raises the bar for your staff in terms of the quality and for families in choosing to receive services through you. Endorsement can, by choosing to be a part of the Alliance, there are many opportunities for endorsement in a variety of professional fields. This is just my own testimonial that I wrote about becoming endorsed, which I just shared out loud, so I'll jump. So endorsement can be offered for families, professionals that are working with families prenatal up to the age of 3. And then there's a second area of endorsement for 3 to age 6. And so depending upon the age in which you work, you can work towards endorsement. We have endorsement opportunities for individuals who want to be either infant or early childhood family specialists. So this might be a home visitor, it might be a child care provider, it might be somebody working in a home visiting program in a variety of capacities, an early intervention provider. We also have infant mental health endorsement for individuals who have a clinical license. There are reflective supervision endorsements for those of us that provide reflective consultation and reflective supervision. There is a mentor and a policymaker endorsement. So one of the benefits about the Alliance endorsement is that there are numerous ways that an individual can achieve their endorsement. It's not like one size fits all, but anybody working with families that have young children can have a place in the Alliance endorsement process. Through our Missouri Association for Infant Mental Health, we're actually offering endorsement office hours every Monday from 10 to 11. It's on our website. And at the fourth Monday of every month, we're having an informational free event about endorsement. So if anybody is curious and wants to learn more, I invite you to come to the website to learn more about that. And there's a few other ways that you can become involved to learn about the Missouri Association for Infant Mental Health. You could become a member. We have opportunities to become a member at the individual level and or the organizational level. And becoming a member offers you opportunities and also helps us to have funds to do things like create endorsement, to offer our free gatherings that we offer every month. You might want to join a committee. We have a diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging committee. We have an endorsement committee. We have our education committee. And the other opportunity that happens monthly, it is free. The second Friday of every month, we have a virtual gathering that is statewide. It's for an hour. We just got this amazing new electronic registration system that helps you to register, and it generates a certificate at the end. And we have made a change over the last 6 months where we are actually applying for all of our gatherings to be approved through the Missouri Professional Development System through DESE. And they all align to a Missouri Early Childhood Competency as well as an endorsement competency area. So it's helping folks to gather those hours if they don't have them already from previous trainings to work towards endorsement. This month's gathering, our topic is all about reflective consultation and reflective supervision to help those of us that are like, what's that? Learn a little bit more about it. And so I invite you to come take a taste if you would like to. I'm happy to answer any questions about the gathering, either here or you can shoot me an email afterwards. And I just really invite anybody that would like to check out the website to learn a little bit more and think about joining us for one of our monthly gatherings. One of the new initiatives that's going to be coming is we're going to be piloting some in-person reflective practice groups. And I have offered to help support one in the St. Louis area. And one of our ideas was to do it through the community leaders. And so I'm grateful to have been given an opportunity to present a little bit about that today, so that if over time that becomes something that might be of interest for individuals to have a separate gathering where it's truly reflection, would love to hear from you and whether you might have a free space to be able to offer to pilot that in the St. Louis area. The goal is to be able to offer it around the state, but there are a few of us who have been willing to open it up and consider piloting. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Does anyone have questions for Lynn? All right. Well, if you think of them after our call today, you have Lynn's contact info in our stakeholder email listserv, and we will share out. Lynn, if you're willing to share your slides or other, I dropped the website in the chat link there so folks can explore the website. And if you have questions, please do let Lynn know. So it is very exciting to me to hear about all of these efforts that are taking place across the state to support the well-being of babies, of young children, of their caregivers, and of our educators. We are living through very weird times, folks. So strange, such strange times. So it is refreshing to hear about the really positive things that are happening and the goals that folks are working towards to make things better for kids and their families. I'm gonna jump us back into our slides. Okay, and advance us a little bit ahead. Maybe. Okay.
Thank you, Leah.
Yeah, of course. So changing gears just a little bit. For those of you who joined us a couple of minutes late today, we kind of shook up the agenda because we had our presenters talk with us first, but grounding us here in why we are in this Zoom room together today, coming together for the Missouri Childhood Community Leaders in the St. Louis region. And here in this region and across the state, we are working towards empowered families and communities that are connected. So this is a great space for us to come together once a month to learn about programs like what Lynn and Christy shared about today, and efforts that are taking place across the state to support children and families and those who educate and support them every day. We are building relationship and building community together, and you all play a really critical role in that. I have been so excited over the past several months to see not only the continued engagement of folks in this group, but the growth in the new faces that join us every month in this work. As part of our St. Louis Region Community Leader Plan, we have emphasized goals over the last year to elevate speakers who can come and tell us about the great work that they are doing in the St. Louis region and across the state. We have our Facebook group page where that is a space where you can ask questions, you can share information, you can connect with others who are part of this stakeholder group, because we believe that we are stronger as a region and as a community when we work together. And we also are I think quite lucky in this region that there are a multitude of initiatives and efforts and groups that are concerned about the well-being of children and families. So we have that advantage here. And so we see the Facebook group as an opportunity to help share what's happening and keep us aligned and organized around those things. As always, we put out the call to invite more colleagues who you think could benefit from being a part of this space. We are always seeking to increase our membership of stakeholders in the region. We know between Lisa, Tiffany, and myself and our colleagues at United for Children, like we can't do this all on our own. We know that you know folks, and we hope that you find enough value in these meetings to invite your colleagues and invite others that you think should be here to keep us all connected. And in our plan, again, we're emphasizing leveraging our stakeholders' expertise. Y'all know so much. Every time I come to these meetings, I learn so much about what's happening in the field. And I learn about something new every time that I come here. So we are grateful to have this space and grateful to you all for being willing to share your expertise and to also come to this space being a little bit vulnerable and asking questions too. Like, I've heard about this, or I want to know more about. Please continue to bring your questions, and we'll continue to foster this as a space where you can come and hopefully get some answers or make a connection. Make sure that if you have not explored Missouri Family Resources, this is a platform that is available to you as a professional in this field, but also for families too that you work with. So if you are working with families who are looking for support and resources for a variety of different needs, whether that is food access, whether that is utility assistance, whether you are have families that are looking for car seats. This is all information that you can find in Missouri Family Resources. There is a lot of great information there, but also some of this, the way that this resource came together was compiling information that was out there. So it is also really important that you check and see if your programs, if your services are listed in Missouri Family Resources. If they are not, you can add them. There is a way to do that directly through Missouri Family Resources. Lisa and Tiffany and I are here. If you need any support in figuring that out or navigating that, we will help you with that. Or if you find that your information is not up to date, because we know that things change, we can help you get that updated as well. So please check out Missouri Family Resources, look for your programs, look for programs that you refer families to. Make sure that information looks like it's updated. And if not, please let us know, or please feel free to make updates to that resource guide as well. And we're, again, happy to help you with that. Check out our St. Louis Region Childhood Community Leader Facebook page I mentioned as a place where you can share information with this group. So in between our meetings, if you have events, if you have new programs that are launching, if you have things that you would like the stakeholder group to know about, please feel free to share them in that group as well. I wanted to share something that I was hoping was a little more timely than actually it is now that I'm looking at the dates. But as you may be aware, there was a recent executive order signed by Governor Kehoe that has made some changes to childcare compliance and childcare licensing. So there have been some listening sessions that the Office of Childhood is hosting to gather feedback from stakeholders. And as I'm looking at today's date, I hope that you all saw this information come through the Office of Childhood, because the St. Louis sessions were hosted yesterday. But there are some additional upcoming sessions. And if you didn't hear about this and didn't have the opportunity to provide any feedback or ask questions, I see an email at the bottom of this flyer that is super tiny, but we can share this out afterward. It looks like it's civilrights@desi.mo.gov. And I think my suggestion would be, if you have questions or information that you would like to share, or questions that you'd like to ask, and if you don't have the ability to participate in any of these sessions, to contact that email. And I'll look to Apurva as well to see if you would advise any differently, or if there may be additional listening sessions, which I'm not sure will be the case. But I don't know, Apurva, do you know whether there's anything else to share with folks about this?
Leah, I believe the best email to use would be childhood@desi.mo.gov.
Okay.
Because that comes into the Office of Childhood, and if anyone has feedback, that will be redirected to the compliance and licensing teams, and that would be the best way to do that.
Great.
But I also believe that there is a release of some kind going out tomorrow. So I would look for that. If you're on the mailing list, likely you will get that. But if not, I will make sure if there's anything there to forward it to you all, so you can share it out with your region.
Wonderful, thank you. Yes, I'll also keep an eye on my email for any information coming out. And if you don't already receive emails and correspondence from the Office of Childhood, you should sign up for that to receive that. And you can do that directly on the Office of Childhood website. So thank you for that information, Apurva.
We can forward the release, or for the release that we get tomorrow, with a reminder to please, sign up to get the Office of Childhood's information.
Yeah, Tina, you have a hand up?
Yes, I attended yesterday's, and they did say they were going to offer a virtual.
Oh, great.
Yes, they had so many people that attended, and due to the capacity, that they would offer a virtual, which is something they hadn't thought of before.
That's wonderful. So hopefully
That's
that
great.
is some information that will come across our emails soon, and
We
we can
should be receiving an email.
Great.
And I'll
Thanks for
try to
letting
make
us know.
sure everybody sees it.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. Because I know I've been hearing some questions from folks of like, what does this mean and what's going on? So the more people that can hear that information directly from the Office of Childhood would be great. Thanks for sharing that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and look in the chat, another wonderful event. Child Advocacy Day next week, April 2nd. Hope everybody is going. And I'll make sure that everything in the chat is sent out after this meeting. But if you haven't signed up, sign up.
Yes, please do. Yep, it's coming up soon. And also coming up for our meeting next month, we will have Angela Nickel and Rachel Manning with the College of Education and Human Development at the University of Missouri come and speak to us about services offered in the St. Louis region through ParentLink, which we're excited to hear more about. And then coming up in May, Peggy Neufeld from St. Louis Be Smart will come and talk to us about gun safety. And Lisa's going to talk with us about some fun literacy-rich summer activities in St. Louis for the whole family. I am very much excited to hear about that as well too, because I am looking for things to keep my kiddos busy this summer. So please join us for those meetings. And again, appreciate folks being flexible to shift our meeting back a week so that hopefully you all were able to attend the Office of Childhood's monthly webinar last week. And I am going to stop sharing my screen.
Hey, Mia.
And we really ran out of time to talk to folks today, but Apurva, you've got a
Yeah.
hand up. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to put in the chat the website for that rule revision executive order. It has all of the information on the listening sessions, the progress, the proposed timelines. They update, based on presentations they've made, stuff like that. So that's the place to be. And that page also provides this email address, childhoodrules@desi.mo.gov, as the place to email with feedback.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Apurva. So childhoodrules@desi.mo.gov is the site to send out your emails to. Does anyone have, before we sign out today, anyone have any questions for the group, things that have been on your mind, any lingering thoughts to share with us today?
One thing real quick. I
Yeah.
know we ran past Child Advocacy Day, just in case you guys don't know, is April the 2nd. And it is right around the corner. And one of the locations is the Star Center, which is 6722 Page. If you know where the 24-1 cinema is, we are across the street from that cinema, and it's the parking lot. So it's a new location, and a lot of people are like, where is it? And it's our new office space. And if you know where the cinema is, it's the parking space across the street.
Thanks for sharing.
Congratulations. Hey,
Thank
send
you.
that to us so we can make sure we're posting and telling everybody the news.
Okay. I'll send it to you so you can post it.
Wonderful. That's so exciting. Thanks
Great.
for sharing that. Anything else folks want to share with the group today? Again, not our usual format. We like folks to have more time to chat as a group because we can be chatty. But I'm really excited that we had both Lynn and Christy here to share with us about some really important work happening across the state.
And don't you worry, I'll be back chatty next month.
Yes, Lisa will be chatty next month. But thanks for letting me be in the driver's seat today, Lisa. That was a little fun for me.
Really appreciate it.
All right. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your week. Dig in, learn more about the childcare licensing changes that are coming. Get signed up for Child Advocacy Day. Go do great things for kids and families in our region. And we'll see you back again in this Zoom room next month. Thank you all.